In a world hungry for change, nonprofit impact matters more than ever. Yet, you're asked to do more with less. What if you could do more with more? That's the promise of Bloomerang, the giving platform built for purpose. Fundraising, CRM, and volunteer insights are integrated to reveal opportunity and generosity so you can make more connections with more funds raised for more impact. Now, that's more like it. Learn how you can do more with more at bloomerang.com. Welcome to the Purpose and Profit Club podcast for nonprofit leaders, mission-driven creatives, and social entrepreneurs. Get ready to stop dreaming and start doing. Here, ideas become action. We prioritize purpose and profit. You ready? Let's go.
If you found yourself saying, I'm really edging on burnout, or I'm just so tired, or I don't know if I can do another year of this episode is for you. I'm recording this in January, releasing it in January by design, because on the heels of what is, for most organizations, a very, very busy last few months of the year leading into year end, it's really normal and common to take some rest, a break for the holidays, and then get back to it in January and also be like, I don't want to. I'm feeling so burnt out from last year. I'm just not even ready to get back fundraising. So that's why I wanted to have this episode on burnout and what's really underneath burnout. And the best news I have for you, how you can deal and combat burnout when it comes up for you. So first, let's reset and reframe how we're defining burnout. So the type of burnout that I'm talking about is the type that you might be lamenting to a friend or a board member or a staffer, or maybe even just yourself. You're just like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's sort of that dread, it's fatigue. It's more than just the usual, I have a lot to do. Burnout, though, is not just a state of being tired. It may be a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. It's carrying a lot, and it's caused by the prolonged and excessive stress, maybe from your role, your responsibilities. It may be that your nonprofit life is interwoven to your personal life, and it just feels like there's not enough time, right? And then the result of that is it drains your motivation. It drains your enjoyment of the work you do, both personally and professionally. It also creates this cycle, this stress cycle that makes you feel helpless. And worst of all, it crushes your productivity. And you might be like, oh my gosh, this sounds terrible. Why are we talking about this? But we're talking about this because I want to crack more than a little window or a door open for you to show you that there is, number one, this is normal. I see this with a lot of high impact, highly motivated leaders that this can come up. So I want to first normalize it for you. And two, I want to shed some light on some simple ways you can get out of this cycle when it comes up, because we're not talking about it enough. We're not talking about it more than, oh, I need a glass of wine after work, or there's just a lot going on, right? We're just sort of saying it and then we're going through the motions. But if you find yourself in this cycle, I want to show you how to get unstuck today. Years ago, I read the book, The Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. And they really go into what is burnout. They define some coping mechanisms, and they explain that burnout happens when your body starts a stress cycle, but never gets a signal that the cycle is complete. Your body starts a stress cycle, but never really gets a signal that the cycle is complete. So even though the stressor may fade, the stress sort of stays alive inside of you because your body doesn't know it's okay. Your system does not know yet that you are safe. So it sort of keeps the alarms on. And that's why you feel that like, I can't really catch your breath. Like I can't catch my breath feeling. The other thing I would say is, as a coping mechanism, I've seen is with the rise of social media in particular is in the rise of, listen, I love a Netflix and chill. However, when our body is in this stress cycle and we just default to like scrolling on social media, just kind of zoning out, we are not actually telling our body, it's okay, we've got this. We're just zoning out. Okay. So The Nagoski sisters go on to talk about completing the stress cycle through movement. And this is one of my favorite hacks. Now, if you're in one of my programs, maybe you've mentioned I have a mini trampoline in my office. And largely, this is one of the reasons. It is not just for fitness. It's great, of course, to break a sweat, but I actually love to shake it off, bounce it out, get my body moving when I'm feeling nervous, anxious, or in this stress burnout cycle. So it's not necessarily about doing a 30-minute workout to get your body moving, but they actually go into in the book how the movement can be tiny. It can literally be like squeezing your hands, squeezing your fingers, walking down the hall. The movement can be imperfect, unclenching your jaw, squeezing your hands, rolling your shoulders, stepping outside, getting literally touching grass, right? And that movement tells your nervous system you're not trapped, you are safe, you can keep going. Movement is one of the fastest ways to get unstuck from this cycle because when your body moves, your mind flows and it's like, okay, we're moving. And I find it actually like releases something. So, most commonly, if you're going to talk to your friend and you were saying, listen, it's the beginning of the year. I'm already feeling just so overwhelmed and so stressed out. I think it would be super normal for your friend to say, you should just rest more, take another day off, self-care. And I am all about rest, but what I want to give you with this nuance, with this episode is what happens when you're not resting. Because the truth is, many of us can't just rest. Like we can't just rest our way out of this overwhelm kind of stress cycle. The day off can be really, really therapeutic, but it doesn't actually solve for and fix the open loops of your to-do list, the open loops of that backlog in your email inbox, right? So what can you do instead? First, acknowledging that you're holding a lot of responsibilities in the air, maybe too many decisions, too much emotional labor without that support or structure. So that's where we see this burnout kind of bubble to the surface. And that's one of the reasons why I love coaching so much because we can coach on this. Just today, I was coaching a leader on this where, she basically came to the call and said, I've got so much happening. And honestly, I don't have the bandwidth for it. I don't have the bandwidth for it. And again, on the heels of last year, it's just been so much. And so burnout can look like that. It can look like circling the same decisions and you're looking at your to-do list and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to, do like a deep dive on our data. I've got to do our board, our board packet. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. It's very, I've got to do frantic energy. It's thinking about thinking. It's rewriting the same content, refreshing the same content 4 or 5, 6 times. It's opening your CRM, but then closing it because you feel overwhelmed and your thought is, I'll do that later. It's avoiding donor meetings. It's very avoiding. It's very tinkering with tasks that don't matter. That's that burnout loop because you're sort of like, I know I need to do this, but I also don't want to do this. So I'm not doing this while also kind of looking at the stuff I want to do. You with me? So here's the solution. One of the biggest boulders, rocks in the way to getting out of that stress cycle is indecision. So the solution, the number one thing you can do to stop this cycle is decisiveness. Now, here's the piece that I want you to understand. Decisiveness isn't necessarily being impulsive. It's not being haphazard. Decisiveness is choosing one path and staying with it long enough to see results. So somebody came to me recently, a friend of mine, and they were really struggling with a decision they needed to make that had kind of a deadline attached to it. They were like, I really need to figure this out. It was kind of some family stuff. And they were in a type of way about it, right? They were just really heavy and really in their head about it and really holding that decision. And I don't know what to do. And I don't want to make this. And it was just very like, I don't want to make the decision. Okay. Because the decision, no matter which way they went, they knew that people would be upset. Okay. So what do? They think about making the decision instead of making the decision. They are prolonging the negative emotion in that process. So instead of making that decision on a Tuesday, they waited another week to think about thinking about making the decision. And that meant, what do? You play out scenarios in your head. You think about avoiding it, you doom scroll some more, then you play out some other scenarios, then you maybe run it by ChatGPT, and you're spending all of this time avoiding the thing while also thinking about the thing. And now we are in that stress cycle. You with me? So what I said to them was, okay, do you really have to make this decision by next week? And what we arrived at was no, it was just an internal deadline that actually didn't exist except by their own creation. And so the first step was realizing I don't have to make this decision right now. And what I told them was, if you know you don't have to make it right now, let's decide when you're going to make a decision for making the decision. Literally, this is what we did. And so I said, okay, so 10 days from now, you're going to make the decision. So between now and 10 days, you don't even have to think about it. You've just said to me, it is not like urgent, time sensitive. So get through the holidays, no worries there. Enjoy your time off, rest, recuperate, have fun. Don't spin out about the decision. And that gave them some peace, right? Because they were like, oh yeah, I really don't have to make the decision. I just think I need to make the decision right now. And so then my next kind of hack for you is when it is time to make the decision, you want to actually look at choosing a time frame to make the decision. So many of my clients right now are making tech changes, internal staff changes, let's see, like even contract freelance work, kind of anything like that, like staff, team, tech, CRM, things like that. And I love Q1 for this because this is generally not your busiest fundraising season. So you have more time in your schedule to do things like this. However, it can spin out really quickly to burnout and overwhelm. I can't do any of this if you're not decisive. So just even a decision like I need a new email service provider and I don't know which one to go with. And Christina, there's like 50 providers and I feel overwhelmed and I just don't want to do it. Okay, you're going to spend 1 hour looking at email service providers on Tuesday. You're going to spend 1 hour narrowing it down on Wednesday. And by Thursday, you will have signed up for that. That is how you're decisive versus stretching that out into 10 different things that feel overwhelming. I had another client that was kind of going through this burnout kind of stress loop. And we listed out what was in there. And it was like some, I've got to do this report and that, and I've got to figure this out and I've got to figure that out. And then we drilled in on when it actually needs to be done, whether or not it was urgent or just seemed like it was urgent, because those are two very different things. And also how much time it would actually take to do some of those very big looming tasks. And what was really fascinating is the big looming tasks actually weren't time heavy. They didn't take, 3 weeks of work. It was a half day of work. It was the way that they were thinking about it that felt overwhelming. It was like, imagine you put every grocery you have in your refrigerator into one pot. You're gonna be like, what is this overwhelming stew of sweet and savory and salty and gross, right? It's like overwhelming versus being like, okay, I have breakfast items over here. I have dinner items over here. I have snacks over here, which is like way different. Even if you thought about like meal prepping in that way, to think about there's 7 days a week, 3 meals a day, that's 21 meals, might be like, I can't do that. That's overwhelming. I can't cook 21 meals, right? Okay, what if you could cook 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and you're just doing breakfast? Okay, that's 5 meals. It's like, how do we parse this out so that it's a little bit more like bite-sized? So that decisiveness to make it bite-sized looks like choosing top priorities, choosing your next action, choosing what you're not doing is the thing that's overwhelming you, the thing that is making this burnout really pitch up. A well-meaning, intentioned suggestion from a board member of an idea that they're not going to support you to run, that was just something they said off the cuff, and now you feel like it was plunked on your lap, and you can just tell them, thank you so much. We're going to keep that on the future projects list, and we're going to stay over here within our strategic plan. You're allowed to say that. Choosing which open loops you will close, choosing before you feel ready. Now, let's use the email marketing tool. So say you need a new email marketing tool for whatever reason. There is no perfect tool. So let's go ahead and level set that. Let's go ahead and level set that there is no one right tool, whether it's your CRM, your email provider, your anything, right? So you're going to choose the one that's most compatible with your tech, that meets your budget, and we go. And you go. I remember when my kids were starting school, one of the things that gave me a lot of peace as they were going to like big kid school was, this is the decision we're going to make for now. And if we need to, we'll change course. Okay, we'll change course. It just gave me peace because I was like, should we apply for the charter school? Should we go private school? Should we go public school? Are they too young? Right? All of those questions. This is the decision that we're going to go to for now. And if we need to, we'll change course. That's what you can say. If I need to, I'll change course. For now, I'm going to decide. That decision will make you feel, I can't even put a number to it, 100 times better. It will restore your energy, your confidence. There is nothing like, for me, writing the line across my to-do list. Like, it is done. It is done. Because when you get decisive, everything feels lighter. You actually show to your higher brain, you show to your lower brain, that kind of lizard brain, like, we got this under control. It's okay. We're going to be okay. That stress cycle reduces. Remember, that stress cycle is looking, are we okay? Do we need to keep spinning out about this? And when you tell it, nah, we're good. You shake your body, you do some movement, and you make some decisions. Another hack I have for you is, please eat the frog. If you've ever heard that saying, do the hard thing at the beginning of the day. So anytime I have this was just yesterday, I had to do some bookkeeping, accounting stuff. And that's my frog. That's one of my frogs. I don't want to do it. I'm spinning out. It's going to take so long. I'm not in the mood. Like, all of my reasons. And I was like, oh, I caught it really, really quickly. I caught it probably within 90 seconds. And I was like, we're going to eat the frog. And on top of it, I gave myself a little challenge. And I was like, I wonder if I can get this done in less than 10 minutes. Because in my mind, I was like, it's going to take an hour and a half, just like it did last time. I mean, I was like a teenager in my head about it. And sure enough, I was like, this is not going to be perfect. I'm going to get this done. And I got it done in about 8 minutes. And what did I show my brain? I showed my brain like a little win, and we could close the loop on just feeling like, sad and stressed and overwhelmed. So some patterns that might be in your organization and you might not be seeing and realizing until now might look like leaders sitting on 10 possible projects or ideas and actually choosing none. It's very kick the can energy. Let's just table this and figure it out later. You guys, that is costing you brain space. That is creating overwhelm. That is creating that burnout cycle. It looks like teams spending weeks brainstorming, but never really committing. No one holding anyone accountable. Hey, Fred, remember you said you would call A, B, and C? You haven't called, have you? Like, holding people accountable. Very freeing. Organizations rewriting the case for support instead of talking to 3 more donors. Tweaking campaign pages, tweaking this, tweaking that, instead of just launching. EDs avoiding one hard conversation for an entire quarter. That is what is creating the burnout. It's like, eat the frog, do the hard thing. It will create more safety. It will create more positivity. It will create more satisfaction in the work you do. And if you're thinking, I'm too overwhelmed, I've got too much going on to make decisions, I don't want to choose the wrong path, I need more time before I act, I need to figure this out more, I need to ask another person before I decide. The problem with those thoughts is that they're rooted in a misbelief, right? They're rooted that you need more time, that time is going to create more clarity, or time is going to create more perfection, or time is going to make it right. When in fact, think about that example with my friend, time was actually creating more stress because they were like, oh my God, it's the holiday. I have to make this hard conversation. I don't know what to do. The time was stretching it out, making it worse. It was making their regardless of that one hard conversation they needed to have, it was making their entire just daily life worse because they were thinking about it, right? So number one, giving yourself a peace of mind that there is no exact one right thing. I promise you there's not. If there was one right way to fundraise for your nonprofit, to market your nonprofit, to manage your board, to manage your donors, all of the things, there would be one book in the bookstore and it would be called Nonprofits, right? There's no one right way. Your organization is led by you. Your organization has a very different mission than another's. And so part of this is giving yourself the freedom and flexibility to iterate. and the confidence that you will right side things. You will change course if you need to. That decision, every single decision, when you have the to-do list, you're like, I don't have time for any of this. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do? What is one thing I can do right now? That little micro decision, one micro action will give your brain relief. It will close an open loop. I love that. That is like one of my favorite things, closing the open loop. It is like, it's done. It's done. And every decision helps return more energy, satisfaction, confidence into your system. That's how you break that burnout cycle. And that's what we do in my programs. Inside the sprint method, we give you clarity, systems, the confidence, the exact tools. So we're reducing decision fatigue for new and solo run nonprofits. So that there is a step-by-step plan to fundraise online. Inside the Purpose and Profit Club coaching program, we give teams that clarity, right? They get that weekly coaching, they get that feedback, they get that guidance and support. So you're not piling these open loops, and you can clearly see, what do I need to do? What's actually on task to help meet my goals? And what are just things that are stuck in the shoulds? What are things I think I should be doing, but I actually don't need to do? What are things that I'm kind of spinning out about, right? You get that community and that visibility, so you see you're not doing it alone. So ask yourself this: what's one loop that I can close today? And if you don't know, like, take a minute, take a deep breath, and like think about like your mental to-do list, your projects. What are the top 5 things? Here are some questions you can ask that are really stressing me out or overwhelming me with work, or that I feel just like when I said to my friend Christine, I feel really burnt out. Ask yourself, why did I tell her that? What did I mean? And I want you to really drill into what feels like. What does it feel like? What is most stressful? And how can we start to close some of those loops, like take bites out of some of those burnout pieces, so you can actually help your brain see, oh, we don't need this stress cycle. Oh, this stress cycle has been dealt with. Or maybe you'll find this isn't even a real stress cycle. We don't even have to deal with this right now. This isn't even a fire we have to extinguish. One way you can establish what is a priority and what isn't is you can look at this month, the next 4 to 6 weeks. What are your top 3 revenue drivers? What are the top 3 strategic initiatives you need to take, and ignore the rest? Everything else can go to future projects. You can also write down your decisions so that your brain doesn't have to hold them. If you are really like, I don't know what I should do here, I'm not sure, write it down, old fashioned, pros, cons, what am I thinking? I find too, even just writing it down helps my brain go, we are addressing it, noted, right? Noted, brain. And so if you can write it out, pen to paper, that's really helpful, or voice memo it out. I love a voice memo for that. So if I can say it out loud and just give a brain dump of just everything that's like, feels like it's on my plate, but actually isn't on my plate. It's a really, or feels like it's on my plate and, everything feels like a priority, but it maybe isn't a priority. That's really helpful. A couple of other things before we close out that I find are quick hacks to reduce that burnout are planning blocks. Remember I said eat the frog? Calendar in time to eat the frog. So decide Wednesday mornings is my frog eating time. 9 to 10 a.m., that's when I'm doing my hard thing. You put your phone on do not disturb. Really reduce any distractions. Creating micro routines where you start to get in the habit of being more decisive will be building a new muscle, and you will see your overwhelm and burnout decrease. When you feel that stress cycle start, and it might be a call you got or a disgruntled email you got or some sort of, internal staff memo, whatever it is, I want you to first take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, release your jaw, release that tension. And you can use what the Nagoski sisters suggest, some movement, or you can even sit in your chair or you can lay down and just squeeze and release. I sometimes will shake it out with my hands. That's really, really helpful. Go for a walk up and down the street. These things can take a minute. It can take a minute. Listening to music can be really, really helpful, just literally to exhale that tension. These are not like wellness hacks. These are literally leadership practices. This is how you stay in the game, because my goal for you is that you're not leaving this industry burnt out. You're not staying in this industry burnt out, that you're loving this industry. You're loving this sector. This sector is so special to me because I believe everybody who's choosing to work in social impact in the nonprofit world feels called to do it, like feels a deep, deep desire to make their impact, to make an impact on the communities, the people they serve. And in layman's, it sucks to make an impact on the people you serve if you feel like crap the whole time, right? If you feel white knuckled, if you feel stressed out, if everything feels hair on fire. I would much rather you make the impact, while taking the hard, because it's not always going to be perfect, right? I would rather you make that impact feeling joy, feeling positivity, feeling less stress, less overwhelm. And ultimately, it's beneficial to the people inside and around and supporting you because that's much more magnetic, right? We've all seen the stressed out fundraiser, right? We've all seen her before. She's stressed out. She's not necessarily magnetically drawing in more donors, right? Or the leader or CEO who's just like super strict and, like that's not magnetic either. So finding the joy is for you. Finding the joy is for the people you serve, right? So that decisiveness that you're now going to filter into your workday helps you become unstoppable. That decisiveness is not pressure. It's relief. It's leadership. It's courage. It's sprinting when you need to sprint. It's resting when you need to rest. Your next decision is the first step out of that burnout and stress cycle. I'm here to support you. So if you have questions, if you're not sure how we can work together, what program's right for your organization, you're always welcome to reach out and send me an email. I am here cheering you on for an amazing year, not only financially, not only as an impact, but again, I want you to be the best you this year. That can sound kind of cheesy, but like the best you, the best version of you, the version of you that logs off and is done with work and into your personal life where it's not bleeding together, the version of you that doesn't have to scroll endlessly and doesn't feel like in this constant stress cycle, the version of you that is living into their purpose and impacting so many. I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, high achiever. I know your sights are set on ambitious, world-changing goals. In the Purpose and Profit Club group coaching program, you can get the support, motivation, and strategy to accelerate your impact. I like to say it's where the inner work meets big impact and big funding. Go to splendidcourses.com/waitlist and you will be first to be notified when we open up doors, and you'll get special bonuses when you join our waitlist. See you inside.